I'm incredibly conflicted with this game. Hello guys, today we're going to review a new game that's called Metaphor ReFantazio. But believe it is still something I can recommend it still despite the many gripes I have with it. Despite playing the demo and finding myself not impressed with that Atlas had put out for this game. I ultimately decided to go ahead and purchase it after the overwhelmingly positive reception the game had achieved after this release. Many of the feelings I had after playing the demo stayed with me throughout my entire experience for better or worse. This game does not feel like an evolution of Atlas' press turn system at all to me. While I do appreciate the mechanics from Digital Devil Saga being brought out to a new game, I do not think they really impacted the overall flow of combat or gameplay in substantial way outside of having to grind more than other new Atlas release. They also added formation to the combat system, but it really felt like an afterthought since they never really had to be utilized outside of or two so battle thought an entire game. That being said, it's still the same combat system that their other JRPGs utilize, so it feels good and fun to play for the most part. What really brings the game down from a gameplay perspective for me is the atrocious balancing that the last few endgame boss have. They really bring the press turn system to its absolute limit, all the way to the point where fight just felt like total slow and not fun. Bosses give themselves 4+ turns per new turn while also buffing the buffing, dealing damage and inflection status all while having an insane health pool is not good balancing. It's just wasting the player time. People will say to just grind more with the excuse as the JRPGs, but I don't particularly find grinding the same enemies for hour a good idea of fun. Outside of those last fight, the game was fine in terms of difficulty, so it's very confusing and is balanced shaped with the final product. The story also seems the founder knew the end as well. I found the first half of the game outside of far in the beginning complaining and really enjoyed the idea of a race to be kind. The setting and your companions were also really well done for me. I think the world did enough to deviate itself from modern fantasy settings, and I think the surround of social links to be one of the best writing yet. Once you reach the fourth quarter of the game, a lot of the writing seems to just fall apart, many things felt like they were properly confused and a lot gets thrown at you during the final act, which feels very stupid. I find myself disappointed with the playoff, but believe there was a lot here that made the world and story something that could be built upon in a future DLC or sequel. Truthfully, I feel like I have been overly critical towards this title since I have fallen in love with the Persona Megaten series over the past few years. Perhaps my expectations were a bit too high or miscounted to make me believe that it will be a product that would differ more considerably than the company other works. Despite that overall I enjoy my time with game and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is fan of Atlas other titles. Get the regular edition, not the overpriced bundle with the barely usable DLC and unusable art books, music packet into the huge Unity launchers. The game itself is great. It builds on the game mechanics of Persona 5 Royal, with most system being present here. Then it sets a job system on top for more flexible character customization, another excellent quality of life improvement is the ability to kill lower level mob in real time without starting a new turn-based combat every time. Social links are more streamlined and the side activities are more limited. Instead you get a unique side content platforming it with a little stories package and all the stat improving activities. Dungeons are mostly shorter but more varied, but you still notice some residual loads. Monster feels like they have a more balanced spirit of affinities and is more consistent between variation of the same monster style. The biggest letdown is the soundtrack. It's not bad, but it doesn't hold a candle to Persona games. It's like 4 motifs rearranged at 2 dosed way each, but there's barely any memorable track that stand out. I can also nitpick in some storytelling points, but overall I can complain about the narrative. So, all in all, it's a great, fresh take on a Persona formula, set in a new world, focusing on a different social problems and unshackled from the serious expectation. Thank you for watching, guys, and hope you see you later, my friends. Goodbye, my friends.